What's up everybody, it's the Biz. I'm back again with another YouTube video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the two angelfish that I have in quarantine. So if you are not part of the movement and a member of this channel yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell so you're notified whenever I release a new video, and thank you for watching the channel. Now, any new fish that I get, I put in my quarantine system. I do this so I don't bring any diseases, any parasites, any monsters into this 180-gallon reef that you see behind me. Let me tell you a little story about why I quarantine. So when I first got this 180-gallon reef, set it up, I had a bunch of fish that I brought over from a 75-gallon. Now everything was nice. With the 180-gallon, it allowed me to put more fish in, so I can finally have that tank that I've always loved. So my mom, being nice, me and her go to the pet store and we buy a tank. She paid for it. It was great. It's a great gift. Love you, Mom. But what I didn't know is that that fish had it. That time I was not quarantined. I stuck that fish straight into the reef. A week later, all of my fish had white spot. A week after that, pretty much every fish, including the blue tang, was dead. Ever since then, I've always quarantined, and I never want to go through that situation again where I have a complete wipeout. Could have been ick, could have been velvet, who knows what it is, but the end result is I didn't quarantine and I lost all my fish. Now the fish I have in quarantine right now are reef safe angelfish. They are omnivores. That means they are not gonna touch any of the coral in your reef. Now I have a spot breast angelfish, and I'll probably mess this name up, but the other fish is a Genicanthus Watanabe fish. Now, both of these fish are beautiful. They're pretty much on the large size as far as new fish that I'm having come into my reef, so I'm pretty excited about the whole thing. Now, these fish have been in my quarantine tank for a little over a week now, and they are just getting to the point to where they're starting to eat. Now, the first thing you probably noticed right off the back about my quarantine tank is that it has rocks in it. The reason that my quarantine has rocks in it is because when I first put these fish in, I put them in with PVC. They didn't like the PVC. They reacted bad to it. They just kind of laid on the side of it, didn't move, they weren't eating, nothing. So I decided to make the quarantine tank a little bit more like their habitat and make a reef. So I keep rock around that I would never put in my display tank just for purposes like this. So this is one of those times where, yes, the normal wisdom is going to tell you use PVC in your quarantine, but because of these specific fish and me wanting to get them as comfortable as possible, I went from the beaten path. Now, the thing that you have to worry about putting rock in a quarantine tank is when you dose things like copper, the rock may absorb some of that, so you have to test constantly with it. And I use a hanna checker to test. I'll go ahead and put a link up to my review of the hanna checker for copper, and this is one way that I believe you can get around having rock in your quarantine tank. Once again, you never want to use that rock in a reef because the copper, of course, will kill anything that is in contact with it that is a coral. Now, for quarantine, after the fish are eating, the thing that I like to do is I like to use Prazipro. Prazipro is going to have 2 separate doses, and I'm going to do this because I want to make sure the fish does not have any flukes or any intestinal worms. After I finish with the Prazipro doses, I'm then going to go ahead and dose copper so I can make sure we don't bring ick or any other diseases into the reef. Once those 2 things are done, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the fish to the reef, and I'll show you a video when I do that. So that's going to be it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you use a quarantine tank or if you basically just play Russian roulette when you put fish into your tank. As always, YouTube, happy reefing, and thank you for viewing the channel.